Dear friends and listeners, it is an honor to host this new and humble podcast called Quest for the Best. And around these open microphones sit four cultural ambassadors who are on a quest to find out who comes from the best country of all. This is not a scientific podcast at all, but it comes from our experiences as people who live out there in the world, from our anecdotal knowledge. And just as we try to convince each other that the other one actually comes from the best country, and who knows, you dear listeners might learn something new. I am the Portuguese cultural ambassador. My name is Angelo. We have Eddie, our Japanese ambassador.
Hi. Great.
We have Morgan, our Kenyan ambassador.
Hey.
And finally, Lynn, our Vietnamese ambassador.
Xin chào, hello.
Welcome to all of you. So the question is, can we convince each other of our amazing
see.
countries?
So
We
excited.
know a little bit about our countries. We've done our preparation, our research. So where do we start?
Okay. So I've heard Portugal is very famous for having friendly people. Is that true?
I would say yes. It is very easy to make a friend in Portugal. Yeah, it is true. You just need to bump into someone, and sooner than later they will be inviting you for
Oh, that's amazing.
a meeting in their house and to meet their family. And so people tend to be friendly. Yeah, I don't know if compared to other countries, maybe more friendly. But not everything is perfect in Portugal. So I would say definitely Portugal is not the best country of them all. People are also very loud. And if you don't like people who talk to you very loudly, who are always like touching you in the shoulder. Hey, let me tell you about the match. Did you watch the football last night? And I don't know if you ever saw Portuguese people talking on the phone. It's like they're always upset at each other, but they're just talking normally. So people are a little bit loud. Yes. But yeah. What about Japan? Yeah, I'm going to bounce right back to you, Eddie.
Yep.
You have, I heard, a lot of doctors. Seems like your healthcare system is good if people need to see a doctor and go to the hospital often.
Yes. Usually in Japan, you don't really need to book an appointment to see the doctor. We have like lots of general doctors as well as like specializing in their specific areas. So if you just feel when you feel like not good or maybe just had headache or fever, you just come to see the doctor without any appointment. It's easy. You also get a lot of medicine if you feel just sick. So yeah.
That is amazing.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, actually, yes.
The system helps people so much.
True.
Is it compulsory to study medicine in Japan?
Not really. Not really. Just specific. Just only some people just go to the medical school.
Yeah.
But were you asking if it's hard to become a doctor or if it's something that people know in general about?
Yeah, if it's hard to be a doctor.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah, I think everywhere it's always a challenge.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time, like maybe 6 years to become a doctor.
Yeah.
So, is Japan the best country of them all, or do we have other options here?
In terms of food, I would say Vietnam is the best. I love the pho.
Yeah, I would not disagree with that. I strongly agree. However, pho is also one of a traditional dish in Vietnam because it's really good with the taste and also the visual. Also, I think pho is considered one of the best dishes in the world.
It's quite popular internationally. I think a lot of people know this soup.
Yeah.
They maybe don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, it's
Morgan,
actually...
can you pronounce?
Is it pusu?
It's pho. Pho. It's a little bit like a backwards in English sometimes, but it's actually and pho.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
You've never tasted, I suppose.
No, not yet.
really.
What's it made of?
It was a kind of Vietnamese noodle. It's made from the noodles. A kind of rice noodles. And also, and it was come with pork. You can eat it with pork.
Yeah.
With beef. With beef and also with chicken.
Okay.
Yeah, and it also has varieties of many kinds of pho that you can taste. Yeah, and I would like to, if possible, I would like to cook some. Sometime I would like to cook it in a student kitchen here in IBC.
We say yes to that. We approve. We
Yeah.
recommend. Let us
Yeah.
know when.
Sure, absolutely. I think all of the Vietnamese students in IBC are now dreaming to taste some Vietnamese food right now. It's not that I don't say this. The food here is not good. It's just like we missed something from our home country.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yes.
But aside from that, I think Vietnamese has a lot of things that could be considered not very dreamworthy to place for children. I think mostly because we have our educational system is too a little bit too academic and to have a lot of indoors hours. Yeah, and we don't in comparison with, I think, IBC only, and I think with the Danish educational, I think we have like more time outside, and we can have the free to choose like, oh, we want to go inside or outside to learn and study anything.
And this is also from your experience. You also
Yeah,
spend a
it's
lot of
true.
time in classrooms
Yeah, it's true.
thinking about going out and chasing
Yeah, but it's like
butterflies.
even in the how to say even in the good weather, like the sun and the breeze, everything, we just have to be indoor to study everything. So it's quite a lot of pressure for us, and also quite stuffy, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And how many hours do you have to study?
I think from 4 hours per day in school, and we also many of the students in Vietnamese has private lessons after school.
Oh,
so I
it's
think
like
it's
exam
gonna be
school.
like from 8 to 10 hours
And that
at least.
adds extra hours of
extra
work
hours
there.
at least 8 to 10 hours.
Okay, so good soup, but a lot of hours in school. That's a balance. Is it the
Yeah.
best country ever?
Yeah.
And if we stay on the topic of food, there's a special place in Kenya where the barbecue I hear is very interesting, very diverse. And I
Yum,
heard
yum.
that our teacher Rod has visited and tasted, and maybe can tell us about his experience some other day. What is this famous barbecue that we can try in Kenya?
The place is called Carnival. It's a restaurant. The place has a variety of meat. Actually, they have another restaurant beside it called Fogo Gaucho. They have the best wild meat. They have crocodile barbecue.
Crocodile.
Ooh. Yeah. They have
Wow.
like
That's
zebras.
Okay.
Zebra.
Yeah.
Wow.
It has the best
How does
barbecue
zebra taste
around.
like?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
You-
true.
You should try it out. It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hear Vietnam has the biggest cave in the world.
Yeah, and the cave's name is Sơn Dong. Dong. Sơn
Dong.
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 Okay, and
Yeah.
how big is this cave? How many people can fit in it? Is it like one of those where you
I
can
don't
get
think
lost?
it can be measurable, but I think is it one of the best, how to say, the most natural and the most like natural, and had been preserved in the world. And I haven't had the chance to be there, unfortunately, but I have seen many pictures, and it is very beautiful and very. It really shows the beauty of the nature that is preserved in its best states.
Okay, so it's a
Yeah.
big touristic attraction.
Yeah, of course, it is.
A lot of people say, let's go for a hike on a mountain, but not
Yeah.
very often you hear, let's go for a hike on a cave. Let's go
Yeah,
deep into the
true.
cave
Yeah,
and
that's
walk
true.
for
Yeah.
hours. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
also
yeah.
you
It has to
can
be like cool experiences.
yeah, and it's also you can travel around it with the boat, the small boat, to go deep
Okay.
inside, and also listen to the water and the sound in that was echoing in the cave. It's quite cool, I think.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. But I think mentioning to tourism, I think Japan is the best place to go to, because I heard that Japanese has the tradition to be very kind to tourists, and
Yes,
also
yes.
they are very how to say, friendly to
Yeah.
the tourist.
Yeah.
Tourist.
I would say like if as soon as someone in Japan recognizes that you are international tourist, you are probably offered to like free tour guide because usually the university, especially the university students, they are offering a free guide in the tourist places. So that's one thing. Maybe like other countries are not familiar with.
But would you say in big cities as well as countryside, or is more like big cities where there's
More
a
like
lot of
big cities,
there's a lot of
yes.
students, a lot of universities? And,
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So we could go and visit Japan and kind of look lost and confused, and maybe someone would
Yeah.
approach us to
Yeah.
help us.
Wow.
Maybe like talking to like random Japanese. If they know about a bit of speaks a bit of English, then there should be no problem. Yeah.
So if I get lost, I just have a guide to help
Just
me.
like lost and
Hey,
found.
hey, help me. I
You
got
get lost and found a Japanese native.
But bad things about Japan. Unfortunately, our politics is very bad. It's kind of stuck. And so lots of people are staying very conservative, not wanting to change. So it's really, especially for younger generation who feels like stuck or frustrated. So we feel that it's very hard to change the politics. So lots of younger generation is not going to vote for anywhere. So that's common things happening in Japan. So yeah,
So the voting percentage is low
yeah,
because
very
people
low.
feel like it doesn't make a difference.
I would say like about 20 or 30% only for the younger generation who wants to go go and vote, because like it's for in everyday life we feel that it's very hard to change even for small things.
Okay.
So that makes that it's like an accumulation of these daily experiences to the politics. So in politics, same applies to the politics. So it's very like hard to change.
Okay, interesting,
nice.
interesting.
But
So
sorry.
yeah,
I
no.
just but isn't that like an obligation for you to like go to vote, or just you can just like have a blank ticket?
Yeah, blank, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there is no such really big pressure. We don't have any penalty for this. So it's like free. You're free to go to vote or not.
Okay, it's not easy to find out who's the best country, who has the best country. There's always a pro and a con.
Yeah, true.
But usually I hear about corruption, politicians, stealing money. But in Japan, it's more difficulty to actually change the
Yes, I guess so.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People feel a little bit uninterested.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really like being ruling party for many years. So in the history of Japanese history, only like 2 times that opposition party becoming the ruling party. So it's only 2 times.
Okay. I feel like hearing a little bit more about Kenya to make up my mind.
Okay. There's, Kenya, we have the 8th wonder of the world, the wildebeest migrations. It's the best you can have in the world.
Okay, so which type of animals?
It's the wildebeests.
the
They
wildebeest.
migrate from Kenya to Tanzania
Okay.
in the Serengeti. Ooh,
So it's a photographer's dream.
Yeah,
And,
it's a really good thing because it even is in the documentaries, and there's like crocodiles eating the zebras and the wildebeests when they cross along.
Wow.
It's really good, and the wildebeest just migrate once in the year. During August, they cross over from Kenya to Tanzania.
Okay, we are recording this in September, so it just happened.
Yeah, it just happened.
Wow.
From the Mara to the Serengeti, and it's really beautiful. But in as much as we have that good, I just hope our leaders would follow the law.
Okay, so also challenges with politicians.
Yeah,
on your side.
because we get like thousands of tourists coming to see the wildebeest, and it's really amazing. But we don't get to see the revenue from the tourists coming in action. So they don't follow court orders. They are corrupt. They are always doing the opposite of what leaders should do. They never have good ideas, one way or the other. But they're just bad. They don't follow the constitution.
And it's really bad.
Yeah.
So we are being honest here, right? We are actually talking about our countries in different ways.
Yeah.
So it's, I would say, we also have some corrupt politicians in Portugal, but maybe not on this scale. On this scale. Yeah.
But I hear in Portugal, you guys have the best weather.
I mean, we have a lot of sunny days. We have just enough rain for people to, of course, have some agriculture and so on. But a lot of surfers go to Portugal because the waves are really nice. We have some of the biggest waves in the world. There's like a specific cliff where you get incredible pictures with the ginormous waves. We have, in some parts of the country, the climate is very stable. So you can basically all year round get perfect temperature. I remember once there was a lot of celebrities have an extra house in Portugal where they go on vacations. Like Hollywood celebrities. So they would go, for example, for Christmas because they would have like 15 to 20 degrees centigrades in Christmas, which is a nice temperature instead of like in Denmark where it's freezing.
I'm thinking of buying a house in Portugal.
but not everything is perfect in Portugal. Let me just counter that with something. People tend to be late. Maybe it's a small nuisance for some people, but people are late. So if you make an agreement with a friend, the weather is perfect, let's go out to the beach.
Yeah.
It's very likely they will arrive half an hour late. And it's not even anything special. They'll be like, what did you expect? We always arrive late. This is how life is.
Okay.
So it's a little tricky sometimes to get things organized and to gather a lot of people if they always come at
Late.
slightly different hours.
Yeah.
Blame it on the traffic. Blame it on the too lazy to get ready on time.
Yeah.
But people being late, it's one of those things that sometimes it's annoying. I think for Nordic countries where I live right now, with you, being late is a big thing. Maybe
It's a problem.
maybe for other countries it's not, but in Portugal I think people are casually late. Yes. One final plus and minus. Which country are we going to go? Because we are running out of time.
I think I would like to hear more about Japan, I think.
Yes. Maybe one thing that Japanese people are known for is high levels of cleanliness, hygiene. I've heard you go to football matches and even pick up the trash after you at the end of the game, which is incredible.
Wow. So we have, through the course of education, we were taught to stay clean all the time. So cleaning up stuff is our obligatory like mandatory activities in our school life. So that is a part of custom, I would say. Plus, we just take off the shoes for the outside when we go inside the house. So
in every house, people do this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's just part of culture, right? It's not like you have to tell people, remind them. They just do it.
Yep. So it's very easy to keep the cleanness and hygiene because we have a clear division between with inside and outside the house. So that makes it more easier to clean up the house, keep the hygiene. So yeah.
Okay. And so that is a plus. Is there any minus you want to counter with to finish our podcast?
Okay. So I have to mention that Japanese working condition. Yeah. So we tend to overwork. We have less paid leave, and same applies for the maternity leave, childbearing stuff. So not only many people are just struggling with taking the day off. My former workplace was not that strict, but at the same time, it was like looking, hearing about my friends' story. They are always struggling. I want to take a day off on that day, but there is another meeting coming, so it's they just have to adjust their day off. So it's not like I'm going to take the day off on that day.
And is this something like between Japanese people that you talk about, that you complain, or is it something you just accept? This is how it is everywhere.
Generally, just accept as it is. They do complain, like about the supervisor or manager or the company itself, but at the same time, it's very hard to change. Once again, yeah. So it's more like a custom.
But doesn't it mean more work, more pay?
Depends on the company.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wow.
Okay, good point. Because of
Yeah,
course,
true.
if you work a lot,
Yeah.
then it's more hours of work.
Yeah.
Well, there's always a plus and a minus that we
Yeah.
take into consideration. Did we find out who has the best country of them all?
I think it's still debatable.
It's difficult, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's,
difficult.
I think a lot of people talk about, oh, that country is amazing, that country is also amazing, but we don't always hear the balance, the
cons.
truth,
Yeah,
the-
the
the-
pros and
what it is
cons.
to live there. So
Yeah.
it's nice to hear it from you. Thank you for sharing. I'm still gonna make up my mind. For now, I think we all continue to live in Denmark and just
Yes.
explore how they do things here, how much they work, what they eat. Maybe not as interesting as some of our countries, but not as tasty. But maybe not as many work hours, which is great.
Yes, I have to say yes.
Yes, thank you all, and thank you for listening to this podcast.